Hey guys, welcome back to another flashlight review, and it's been a while since I've reviewed a Convoy flashlight, and this is the Convoy M21C. I've never reviewed this particular model before, and you can see here it's a pretty beefy looking flashlight. It's got a large reflector, and I chose this one specifically because it also comes with this new LED, the LHP 73B, and this one is in 1800K, so it's a nice yellow color and makes for the perfect floodlight, if you ask me, combined with this orange peel reflector. And it kind of reminds me of those really old flashlights that, you know, have those filament bulbs in there and produce yellow light. And it's a pretty simple light to use, so look at that amazing color there, and you just turn it on full press and then half press to switch modes. Okay, and there are a few different UIs you can select from inside, which I'll show you a bit later, but that's the basic sort of operation of the light. Now, in terms of what you get with the flashlight, it is pretty basic. You get the light itself, and this is the box that it comes in. It does also come with a lanyard, which I don't use personally. There is no battery unless you add one to the cart, so I actually use the Molicel P42A. It's a nice high drain cell. It's great for all kinds of flashlights, but you can get a higher draw, a higher capacity battery as well, if that's something you prefer. But normally those high capacity batteries have lower draw, so you're not going to get as bright. And yeah, that's basically it in terms of what's included. And here's a side-by-side comparison of the Convoy M21C next to a few other Convoy flashlights that I own. And you can see next to the Convoy L21B, it's really not that much smaller. If you really take a look at it, I mean, the bezel is a little bit smaller, and the length is smaller, but it actually feels perhaps like it might have better heat sinking, even just more material, chunkier material here underneath the head, and also there's more cutouts. And I've got the Convoy Z1 over here. Okay, you can see it's like still significantly smaller, and same with the M21B. So yeah, it's not something you can really easily pocket. You probably need to put it in a holster or jacket pocket. Backpack's probably the best way. So here's a little close-up of the Convoy M21C, and overall the construction is excellent for this price point. And I've chosen the one with the tan colored anodizing. I think I just wanted something that looks a bit different from the usual black anodizing. And the head, so you can see, is way larger than the body, head heavy, especially even if you hold it here on the battery tube. You can see it's sort of weighted towards the head. You need to hold it kind of around this lip area there for it to balance. And I like how there's a ton of these cutouts here on the head. That's going to add more surface area for better heat dissipation. And there's also an anti-roll feature with these little cutouts here in the head. The light is operated through this tail switch here on the back, and it does also tail stand. There's no onboard charging, and there is this stainless steel bezel here, which is a nice premium touch. It's going to add some durability. It's non-crenulated as well, so you should be fine with security points, that kind of thing. And the glass lens has an anti-reflective coating on it. And yeah, as you can see down inside the light, that LHP73B gigantic dye surface, and yeah, 1800K orange peel reflector. And usually these orange peel reflectors are required to smooth out the beam on these large LEDs. If you put a smooth reflector in there, you tend to have ringiness and artifacts, that kind of thing, unless the LED is completely circular, which still there can be issues. And yeah, this one comes with a 20 amp buck driver as well, so there's regulated output, and also the LEDs available in different tints. So if the 1800K isn't your cup of tea, you can also get anything between 3000 to 6500K. So I ran a bunch of ceiling bounce tests with the Convoy M21C with the LHP73B 1800K, and you can see on the 100% mode here, you get about a minute of runtime before the light steps down to about 30%. You can see that happens between about a minute to 2 minutes of the test. And this is the second ceiling bounce test that I ran here on the 35% mode. Just ignore the graph, it says 30%, but it's actually 35%. And you can see you get 100% output all the way to just about 6 minutes before the light steps down. to about maybe 60 to 70%. And you can see there's a secondary smaller step down at 8 minutes to 60%. Here are some tests that I ran with my Opal Lightmaster Pro, and you can see here on 100% managed to get 579 meters of throw, which is pretty impressive. I mean, considering you've got an orange peel reflector in there, such a large LED dye surface, normally these larger LEDs don't throw that far unless you have a gigantic reflector in there, so I think that's pretty solid performance. Even on the 35% mode, you can see here 366 meters of throw. It's definitely respectable, and the CCT readings you can see here were pretty much 1700 to 1800s. For some reason, I couldn't get any CRI readings. So some considerations if you're thinking of getting the Convoy M21C. So this thing is really not so pocketable, okay? It fits in my jacket pocket. I managed to fit into my jacket pocket anyway when I was riding around on my scooter, but yeah, the heat sinking is way better when you compare it to something like the Convoy M21B, and you can get this light with the same emitter, that's LHP73B emitter, but it gets really ridiculously hot. So yeah, I think you're also going to get much better range with this larger reflector, and yeah, you'd probably be able to fit this into a generic holster. Yeah, like I said, jacket pocket in your backpack's going to be probably the best place, but yeah, if you're wearing jeans, probably forget about it. The second consideration is that there's no onboard charging, and this seems to be like the kind of flashlight that will be perfect for an onboard sort of charging port in there. But yeah, I think it, you know, from what I'm aware of, has something to do with that 20 amp driver. So yeah, maybe it's cost related as well. So you will need to get an external charger for the 21700 cell battery. So yeah, in that sense, it's not going to be the ideal flashlight to give someone, or if you're a beginner, you just need to research a little bit more. You can also buy a battery with a charging port on it. In fact, I do recommend those types of batteries for beginners because they often come with a protection circuit as well. Overall, if you don't mind the added heft and the lack of onboard charging, this is one of the best value high performance flashlights out there. I really like the form factor of this light. It feels solid and has additional heat sinking. You do get a lot more range than the M21B, and it's not as large as the L21B as well, though it is still fairly chunky. And yeah, I mean, I like that you can also choose a huge range of emitters as well. So if you want like a narrower long range beam, you can opt for the Osram W2, the SFT25R, and inside this host they're going to be producing much less heat than this particular LED as well, so it's probably going to step down a lot later. But yeah, let me know what you guys think of the Convoy M21C, and whether you choose this LED. Would you choose this one or would you get something else? Let me know down in the comments. If you want to get one, I'll also link the Convoy official website. And yeah, if you enjoyed the video, found it helpful, do me a favor and click the like button, share it somewhere or with someone who might be interested in it. It just helps me to get my channel out to more people. And if you want to see more flashlight reviews and keep up to date with the latest flashlight news, make sure you subscribe. I've got the Convoy M21C with the LHP 73B 1800K. I'll just go for a little kind of a stroll around here now. Sort of mid-range, short to mid-range distance. And this is the 30% mode. This one here. Anything more is just way too bright. But you can see you can spot stuff back in that field, but then I can blast it at 100. It seems to just cut through that night air really well, especially with a bit of mist tonight. That's what we're looking at out here. Just cycle through some modes.
Convoy M21C with the LHP 73B, and I'm just going to cycle through the modes. That's 1, 10, 30 and 100%. And this is the 1800K version. I've never tested a light with an 1800K LED in it before, and it's just so bizarre. It's really yellow, like really yellow, but it also cuts through, because there's a little bit of mist tonight. Not sure if you can see, there's a little bit of kind of moisture and particulate matter in the air, and it just seems to cut through a little bit better. And have noticed this compared to a lot of those cool LEDs, cool white LEDs. They pick up a lot of the particulate matter in the air, but this is quite amazing, and a ton of light as well. This LED is incredible, but you know, even with the orange peel reflector with the large diameter head, you can see it just is quite throwy and produces a ton of spill. I'll just go through the different modes again. So that's 0.1, you can't see it. Okay, 1%, 10%, 35%, and 100%. Perfect kind of blend with the hotspot and spill. I'll go for a walk. Really reminds me of those old halogen light bulbs, or you know, those really old school flashlights back in the 90s that had you know, those really warm filament bulbs. But apart from that, it just has excellent throw. It's easy on the eyes as well. This looks a lot nicer than having like a white LED, which would be able to throw perhaps a bit further. But yeah, this would be, if you're willing to carry something large around, this would be great as a walking light. You can also get this LED in the Convoy M21B for kind of a smaller flashlight that you can carry. Convoy S8 here with the SFT25R, and I'm just gonna show you the difference. Okay, 6500K smaller LED, and the Convoy M21C with the LHP73B 1800K. So way more light, larger hot spot, and yeah, you can see the tint is it's just so different. Really, it's really unique. It's almost, God, it's almost orange, especially when you have it next to the white LED.